What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another Screw Toy action figure review. And today we'll be looking at the Marvel Legends The Infinity Saga Iron Man Mark III from the Iron Man movie of 2008. And I've had this figure for about a day or two, and I've played around with him a lot already. And so far, I love him, man. There's not much to him. He is just another Iron Man armor, Mark III to be exact. And I don't know, man. It's just there's so much good things about this figure and its simplicity. And yeah, enough of me talking. Let's get a closer look here at the packaging, and then we'll get a closer look at the figure. So it is your standard Infinity Saga packaging. You get Iron Man Mark III, the Infinity Saga, Iron Man, Marvel Studios, Legend Series, the Avengers logo. If you're 4 and under, you cannot play with it. And then a little logo that they did recycle that plastic. On the side, you get the logo of the Infinity Saga Marvel Studios, so you don't forget the Avengers logo down there. The mural that's on all the Infinity Saga packaging. You get a poster of the movie back there, and then you get a read-up of Tony Stark. If you want to read that, you can pause it now. Iron Man Mark III, Marvel Studios series, so you don't forget again. Oh, no, I'm sorry, read that wrong. Marvel Legends series, so you don't forget. And then on the other side, you get a continuation of that mural. On the bottom, you get the Avengers logo again. Infinity Saga, Marvel Studios, so you don't forget. On the top, you get a logo of the Iron Man movie, Iron Man Mark III, Marvel Studios, so you don't forget. On the bottom, not much. And there you go. There you have the barcode if you need it. But enough about this packaging that we've seen plenty of times with this line. Let's get a closer look at the figure. Here is a close-up look of all the accessories that he does come with. And I think he comes with everything you need and more. Maybe one thing I would have asked for, one more thing that I would have asked for is a fully unmasked Tony head. But it's not needed. It is what it is. This is good enough. But let's get a closer look here at the helmeted version real quick. As you can see, it is just the Iron Man Mark III helmet. Very nicely done. It is, let me back up my camera just a little bit. It is painted in a very nice metallic gold here at the front faceplate. You can see that white paint in there is very nicely punched in. I don't know why it won't focus. There you go. And then you get some of that black paint in those crack lines right there. The red is just molded in that red plastic, so it is a little dull. I wish it was a more metallic red to it. As you can see a lot of that marbling in there, which is a little bit unfortunate, but not too bad. It is on the back of the head, but I do wish that they put a red, shiny, metallic red paint over that helmet. The unmasked head, if I'm being honest, I'm not a big fan of it. You know, especially through my viewfinder, you can tell that the likeness to Robert Downey Jr. Isn't 100%, man. Just straight on, it doesn't really look much like him, and I believe it's because of the nose. It's so thin and pointy. It's just not Robert Downey Jr. Again, the faceplate is just painted in that gold metallic paint, and then you can see the eyes are punched in there very nicely. The red plastic, is a little dull. Again, I wish it had red metallic paint over it, so you can see some of that marbleization back there, which is a little bit unfortunate. Do like that they punched in that black paint in there. But on the face, it's sculpted decently. And then the paint apps on it are very nice and clean on that mustache and that flavor saver. The eyebrows very nicely done. And the eyes very nice and clean. So a good head sculpt, just not Robert Downey Jr. And then you get two fists that are, casted in that red plastic. So you could see some of that marbleization right there on the, wrist guards. And then no paint or anything. I wish they would add some paint in that reactor in there, or that repulsor blast. So yeah, no real paint or anything. Just fisted hands for the Iron Man suit. just in red plastic. And then you get two repulsor blast hands, which are actually painted here in the middle in white, and there is no porthole in there to peg any blast effects, which doesn't really bother me. Um, you know, this is nice the way it is, and they are stuck in that in that position. And there's no real hinge; it's just a peg, and I like how they sculpted this upwards. Um, I wish there was a hinge to move it a little bit, but it is what it is. But yeah, man, I think these look really good. They're very nicely sculpted. You can see all those lines and rivets sculpted in there. So that looks really nice. And then you get this shield right here for his forearm. It looks really good. I love that gunmetal gray that they put in the middle. And then that red paint in that little circle right there. So that looks really good. Again, just red plastic. So no real paint on it. See the peg hole. And I actually put some detail in the back, which is really nice. Would have been nice to see some paint back there, but you're not going to really see it anyways. But yeah, this looks good. It's that shield he uses when Iron Mongol is shooting at him at the end of the movie. And then you get these little missile launchers, which are pretty cool. You can see that they're painted in that gold paint right there, and then the black, and then the rest is just that red plastic. And I believe he uses this in the movie when he shoots at the tank, and then he walks away from the tank while it explodes like a badass. So this is pretty cool. Very nice. Again, port or peg at the bottom right there. And then lastly, if you don't want any of these accessories on his forearm, there is a big hole right there on the figure, and this just pretty much covers it. So you can just peg that in there, and it's covered, as you can see. So that is nice. But enough about the accessories. Let's get a closer look at the figure itself. And here is Mark III out the packaging. And as I said at the beginning of the video, I love this figure, man. It's pretty straightforward, super simple. Just a brand new mold for this armor. We did see a couple of these armors back in 2007, 2008 when they were doing the promotional run for this movie and releasing the action figures and whatnot. But they knocked it out the park with this one. Obviously, the old ones are outdated. They're very small. They weren't Marvel Legends at the time. I believe they were a sister line to the Marvel Legends line. And yeah, man, I think they killed this one. It's a super simple figure with a lot of details and a lot of nice paint. And man, it's for such a simple figure, man. It's and I don't mean simple in a bad way. I mean, like, it's just, just, what you're getting, what it is, and it does its job, but it does its job like the employee of the month, if that makes any sense. But yeah, man, it's such a great figure. I mean, just let's just take a second just to admire him without me over here gushing over him, man. Just look at him. And yeah, man, again, really good figure. But we already saw the head sculpts. Obviously, you could just pop this off and put on the faceplate head sculpt on. Super easy to pop on and pop on, as you can see. And it is a dumbbell joint in there. But again, we've seen the helmet. You can see that the neck does have very nice sculpting. Down here on the collar, you can see some of that gunmetal gray punched in there very nicely. It even this little rivets right here are painted in that gunmetal gray, which is really nice. These shoulder pads, man, I really like how they engineered that. It's they've been doing it with a lot of the Iron Man figures lately, where it's kind of a separate floating piece, so it moves along with those arms when you move them. Going down to here, this is probably my favorite part of the figure. It's the way they did the arc reactor right here. It is a blue paint, and then they did a white overspray in the center of the arc reactor, and then around that blue to really make it look like it's glowing. And from a distance, when you have it on the shelf, it actually does look like it's lit up, which is pretty cool. I really like how they did that. I believe they've attempted to do that with other figures, and it just doesn't come across right. But here, I feel like it's perfectly executed. But yeah, I really like how this came out, and thankfully mine came with no QC issues. I know a couple people have gotten it off-centered and stuff, but yeah, that looks really good. I do have very minor QC issues, which over here the gold paint should be, in those rivets right there, but it missed the alignment just a little bit. On the other side, it is better tampered on there, so not too bad. Again, the figure is, just in that red plastic, so you can see a lot of marbleization here on the abdomen, which is a little bit unfortunate. But I do like these nicely sculpted lines. And I like how the torso looks. A lot of the figures, Iron Man figures, are usually real bulky up here and then real slim down here on the waist to get that articulation. Here, it's very just uniformed. It looks very nicely and sleek, I mean. But I do like how they did that. You can see this part right here is an overlay just glued down, which is a little strange. The legs, you got the ball joints up here, and then the other parts to go over the legs right here. Again, you can see that nice gold paint, some gunmetal punched in there, which does look really nice. And you see those knee pads, and then the shin guards, and then the boots, and then you see those rivets right there, punched in that gunmetal gray, which does look really good. The back, you can see a lot more detail, and they did add a good amount of paint in the back. You can see those rivets are punched in gunmetal gray as well. The gold back here, you can see that spinal design right there, which looks really nice. You can see that gold in there. And he does have the serial numbers here in the inner thigh, which at first I was like, that kind of sucks, but you'll see in a minute why they're there. I like how they did some sculpting here on the hinges, so it doesn't just look like a flat red piece of plastic right there. So that does look really nice. Moving down to the legs, you can see those exhaust hose in there to let that hot air out. And yeah, I think those look really nice. It would have been nice if we would have seen some silver in them, but it is what it is. It's nice. And then at the bottom, he does have treads. The reason why the serial numbers are in the inside of the thigh. He does have peg holes for those blast effects to make him look like he's flying. And yeah, man, solid figure overall. Like I said, it's a straightforward figure. Another Iron Man armor. And yeah, like I said, it does its job. If you buy this figure, I'm pretty sure you know what you're getting. It's just, again, another Iron Man figure, but a really, really great Iron Man figure at that. So yeah, not too bad. Oh, and one thing that I wanted to mention, he is pinless. I've seen a lot of people say, like, well, why is his arms pinless and his legs aren't, if this is all brand new sculpt. But this, I think it is a pin, but it's part of the design of the armor. If you go back and look at the movie when he's taking off his armor, I believe it's the original Jarvis goes in there and it unscrews a big old bolt from his thighs, and they just they were smart and they utilized that design element to put a pin in there. Did forget to show off the way the forearm works. So the effects only do port onto his right arm. On the left arm, it does have that same design right here, but it's not removable. As you can see, it's molded onto the plastic over here. You can actually see the seam line, which is a little annoying. I wish it would have been a separate piece glued on there to really, make it look uniformed. It does kind of stand out a little bit to me. So, but again, very easy to remove, and you can port in the missiles. Oh shit, had them backwards. You can port him in there, and there you go. You have him shooting missiles, and then you can port in the shield, which I'm still a little confused on how it goes, but I believe it goes like this. And yeah, you can have him, shielding himself from Iron Mongol. In a close look at this guy's articulation, I believe this is where he really shines. His articulation is probably the best on an Iron Man figure. His head is on the dumbbell joint, so he can look up just a tiny bit, which is the biggest complaint I have on this figure, because I wish he could look up just a little bit more. And it does get real gappy once you do that. So if you want him on some flying poses, you're really going to have to arc that back to make it look like he's actually flying. He can look down a great amount, can bury the chin. And since it is on a dumbbell joint, like most dumbbell joint heads, he has great head pivot. So that is nice. His arms are on ball joints, so they rotate a full 360, and that shoulder pad moves with it, so it doesn't really get in the way or anything. He does have upper bicep swivel, double pinless elbows that bend in a good amount, more than 90 degrees. His fisted hands are on a hinge, so that it does rotate a full 360 if you like, and it does hinge mostly down, just a tiny bit down, not much, because then it runs into that gauntlet right there, and it doesn't hinge back at all, obviously because of that plate right there on his fist. And then his blast effect or blast hands don't hinge or anything, but they do rotate a full 360, and it did get really loose on me right there. And then his diaphragm cut right here does move a great amount, so he pivots all the way to the side, all the way to the other side. He does hinge that much forward, and he does hinge all the way back, so great amount. There's no waist cut or anything. The legs are really nice. First of all, he has drop down hips like an import, so that is very nice, man. I love that. His legs are over this ball joint over here, so he does have upper thigh cut, double jointed knees, and he can easily, and I mean easily, kick his own ass. So that is very nice. And then his ankles are a little bit restricted because of the design, so it doesn't hinge much forward. It hinges just a tiny bit back, but he does have ankle pivot, so that is nice. Now, getting a close look at some size comparisons, I want to have a little bit of fun here, so I'm going to bring in quite a few figures. First off, this is his first red and gold suit in the MCU, and I wanted to bring in obviously the first one and the last one, Mark 85. And he just doesn't want to stand for me. But there we go. And as you can see, that this figure is a lot more taller than Mark 85. Putting on the head that came with Mark 85, it does fit, but it's kind of a little on the big side. It doesn't look horrible, but yeah, it looks a little too big, so that is a little bit unfortunate, but you can make it work. Next, here we have him next to one of his arch enemies, the Winter Soldier, Bucky. Well, in the MCU, his arch enemy, as he did kill his parents. And you can see that he is a lot shorter than this armor, as he should be. Again, this is a bigger, chunkier armor in the MCU. Next, here we have him next to Baron Zemo. And again, he is a lot shorter than he is, as he should, again, because this is a bigger, chunkier suit. Next, I wanted to bring in one of my favorite characters from the MCU, Korg. And you can see that Korg is a lot bigger than he is, as he should. He is an alien rock monster, so I do like the size differences between these two. And here we have him next to Surtur. Obviously, Surtur is way out of frame, and even crouching down, he's way out of frame, but you could just see that Surtur obviously towers this figure. Bringing in a comic book armor, we have the modular Iron Man, and you can see that he is a lot smaller than this armor, having him back to back. Well, I feel like he's just a tad bit smaller, but you can see that this armor is a lot bigger and chunkier, and you can see some of the inspirations that they took from the animated series, the comics, to give us the MCU, cinematic version of Iron Man. Here we have him next to the 80-year anniversary Iron Man. And again, you can see a lot of the inspiration to create this version of Iron Man. And I think they look really good together. Next, here we have him next to an import, the Mayfix Black Panther. And as you can see, he kind of just towers over this dude. So I don't know if you can necessarily make it work. Maybe if you drop down, Black Panther's legs, he gets a little bit taller, but not much. Here we have him next to Nomad or Captain America from the Infinity War movie. And this is the Mayfix figure. And one of my favorite figures that I picked up recently. I actually just got him today, and I have not been able to put this figure down, man. If y'all want to see me do a review or just, a quick, couple minute short review, let me know. But you can see that he is a lot shorter than Iron Man, but not too much shorter. This actually does look a lot more better than Black Panther. And here, dropping down his legs, you can give him a little bit more height, as you can see. So you can make this work. I think this looks really good. And last but not least, here we have Iron Mongor from the Infinity Saga line. The same line as this figure. And you can see that this figure is pretty massive and still towers over him. I feel like he should be just a little bit bigger and he should be a little bit smaller. But it does work. I mean, as long as he's bigger, that's all that really matters. So I feel like these two together, man, they look amazing. So I will have some very nice a very nice time taking pictures of these two. So stick around to the end of the video if you want to see a picture of these two fighting. And here we have the figure on the rotating base in a superhero landing, and it baffles my mind that I can actually get a Iron Man figure in a superhero landing. He did this post a couple times in the movie. And overall, man, I'm just going to be straightforward with you. If you're an Iron Man fan, obviously buy this figure. If you're a casual MCU collector, or just buy one of each figure, I'd still say buy this figure. He's such a great figure. I promise you, you'll have a lot of fun just posting this figure around. You'll get lost in time and just be posting him for 3 hours and not realize that you've been posting him around for 3 hours. And it just has a lot of fun factor, man. And it's such a great articulated Iron Man figure. I mean, just look at him, man. It's really well articulated, very well designed and put together. Again, like I said at the beginning of the video, it's such a simple figure. You know what you're getting. You're just getting another Iron Man figure, but it's a really good Iron Man figure, a really good one. On the scale of 1 to 10, I'd give this guy a solid 9.5. A couple little things that I would have changed. Obviously, I would have gave him a little bit more accessories, a little bit of better paint applications, and just very small nitpicks. And the main one being that I wish it was metallic red instead of that, dull red plastic. But overall, man, great figure. Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know what else to say other than it's just a really good figure, and you'll really enjoy it. But make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. We're currently at 86 subscribers. I really want to hit 100 by the end of August. So yeah, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. Also follow me on my Instagram at Screwed Toys with a Z. So Screwed and then Toys instead of TOYSZ. I'll put it down here below so y'all can see it. But yeah, man. Again, great figure. Don't regret buying this figure whatsoever. Love it. And yeah, man. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.